Most people believe poverty is caused by a lack of money. But what if the real cause is something far more comfortable? Every day, millions of people choose the easier option without realizing they're slowly sacrificing their future. The tragedy is that comfort rarely feels dangerous. It feels safe, it feels deserved, it feels normal. And that's exactly why it's so powerful. The greatest threat to your potential is rarely failure, rejection, or hardship. More often, it's the warm, familiar feeling of staying exactly where you are. Because while discomfort demands growth, comfort quietly asks for nothing at all. Human beings are biologically wired to seek comfort. For most of human history, survival depended on conserving energy, avoiding risk, and staying close to safety. Our ancestors who wasted resources or exposed themselves to unnecessary danger rarely survived long enough to pass on their genes. The brain evolved to reward efficiency. It prefers certainty over uncertainty, familiarity over exploration, and immediate pleasure over delayed rewards. Thousands of years ago, this instinct helped keep people alive. Today, it often keeps people stuck. Modern society has become incredibly skilled at delivering comfort. Food arrives with a tap. Entertainment streams endlessly. Every inconvenience has a solution. Every moment of boredom can be eliminated instantly. Yet something strange happens when a person spends too much time eliminating discomfort. The mind begins to lose its tolerance for challenge. Tasks that once seemed manageable start feeling overwhelming. Patience weakens, focus declines. Ambition slowly fades. Comfort does not destroy people overnight. It erodes them gradually, one convenient choice at a time. This is why comfort can become a hidden form of poverty. Not financial poverty at first, but psychological poverty. A poverty of discipline, a poverty of resilience, a poverty of possibility. When people become overly attached to comfort, they stop expanding their capabilities. They avoid difficult conversations. They delay important decisions. They postpone learning new skills. They remain in situations that no longer serve them, simply because change feels uncomfortable. Over time, their world becomes smaller, even if their surroundings remain the same. Think about how procrastination works. Most people assume procrastination is a problem of laziness. In reality, it is often a desire for emotional comfort. The task itself may not be difficult, but it creates uncertainty, anxiety, or temporary discomfort. The brain immediately searches for relief. Social media becomes more appealing. Watching videos feels easier. Checking messages provides instant gratification. The person tells themselves they will start later, but later rarely arrives. The comfort of avoidance wins, and another opportunity quietly disappears. What makes this process dangerous is that comfort disguises itself as self-care. It whispers reasonable excuses. You've worked hard today. You deserve a break. Tomorrow will be better. You can start next week. None of these thoughts sound destructive, yet repeated over months and years, they create a life defined by delay. The future becomes a collection of postponed ambitions. Dreams remain permanently under construction. The psychology of wealth often begins with understanding delayed gratification. Wealthy and successful individuals are not necessarily smarter than everyone else. Many simply develop a greater willingness to tolerate temporary discomfort. They are willing to endure boredom while learning a skill. They are willing to face uncertainty while building something new. They are willing to experience rejection while pursuing opportunities. The average person sees discomfort as a signal to stop. High performers often see it as evidence that growth is taking place. Consider the difference between convenience and progress. Convenience feels good in the moment. Progress often feels frustrating in the moment. Going to the gym is less comfortable than staying on the couch. Reading a challenging book is harder than scrolling through short videos. Learning a valuable skill requires more effort than consuming entertainment. Yet the outcomes of these choices compound over time. Small acts of discipline accumulate into extraordinary results. Small acts of comfort accumulate into stagnation. This is why successful people often appear willing to do things others avoid. They understand a psychological truth that many never discover. The discomfort you avoid today does not disappear. It simply returns later, often larger and more expensive. Avoid difficult conversations, and relationships deteriorate. Avoid financial responsibility, and debt grows. Avoid personal development, and opportunities shrink. Temporary comfort frequently creates long-term discomfort. Temporary discomfort often creates long-term freedom. There is also a subtle relationship between comfort and identity. The more comfortable a person becomes, the more they begin protecting their current self instead of developing a better one. Growth requires admitting that who you are today is not yet who you could become. That realization can be uncomfortable. It challenges the ego. It forces self-reflection. It demands responsibility. Many people unconsciously avoid this process because maintaining their current identity feels safer than risking transformation. The modern world amplifies this tendency. Algorithms are designed to keep attention comfortable. Technology reduces friction. Entertainment removes silence. Yet silence is often where self-awareness begins. Discomfort forces people to confront questions they would rather avoid. Am I living up to my potential? Am I growing or merely repeating the same year over and over? Am I building a future or simply consuming the present? Comfort distracts from these questions. Discomfort reveals them. This does not mean comfort is inherently bad. Rest is necessary. Recovery matters. Enjoyment is part of a meaningful life. The problem begins when comfort becomes a destination rather than a tool. When people organize their entire lives around avoiding difficulty, they unknowingly sacrifice the very experiences that create confidence, capability, and success. Strength is not built in comfort. Resilience is not built in comfort. Wealth, in its deepest sense, is not built in comfort. The paradox is that the people who learn to embrace discomfort often experience greater peace in the long run. They become less afraid of uncertainty because they have repeatedly faced it. They become more confident because they have overcome challenges. They become more capable because they have stretched beyond their limits. Their freedom is earned through temporary struggle rather than borrowed through temporary comfort. At the end of life, few people regret the risks they took to grow. More often, they regret the opportunities they avoided, the talents they never developed, and the versions of themselves they never became. Comfort feels harmless because it asks for so little, but that is precisely its cost. It asks you to trade your future for the illusion of ease. The question is not whether comfort exists in your life. It exists in everyone's life. The real question is whether comfort serves your goals or silently controls them. Because the distance between the life you have and the life you want is often hidden inside the discomfort you're unwilling to face.